The author Robert Swan would say, the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else is going to save it. I believe that's the mindset that my author, Miss Sophie Putka, had when she wrote her article titled, "The U.S. recycling system is flawed, and here's how we can do better." In the article, she breaks down the problems we currently face, as well as analyzing our current practices and how international trade and regulation, as well as the financial burden that the pandemic puts on our current recycling centers. In the 5-paragraph article, she starts out by quoting the EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency, report from 2017 that states only 8% of plastics and 27% of glass were recycled that year. She takes us through the recycling process, from collection to sorting to remanufacture, only to discover that certain goods have what they call remanufactured value, and that a large majority of our recyclable goods end up in the landfill still. Now, this problem is twofold. One, the confusion as it pertains to what can be recycled and where it can be recycled. And two, the new restrictions that were placed on all recyclable imports into China. You see, in 2018, China placed new restrictions on all imports of recyclable goods in an effort to curb their own pollution. Well, this reduced our exports of recyclable goods by about 50%. Now, even with new international partners stepping in and us preparing and currently building new recyclable plants in the United States, you've got to ask yourself, what can I do? Well, the 1970s mantra, reduce, reuse, recycle, still applies, with an emphasis on reduce. The things that you don't use can't hurt the planet. You need to check labels to find out what proper disposal techniques are, and you need to avoid what they call aspirational recycling. Aspirational recycling is the sending of things that don't belong to the recycling center to the recycling center. You see, aspirational recycling slows, stops, or completely destroys whole batches of recyclable goods. She goes on to state that the biggest travesty when it comes to recycling is that you don't know whether the thing that you're recycling actually makes it back into the manufacturing process. The three terms that my author employs were acronym, statistic, and repetition. Acronym being an initial for each word for a set of words. Statistic being facts that can be proven mathematically. And repetition is the repeating of sounds, words, or phrases that help hold and attract people's attention. An example of acronym is when I said EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency. Statistic, when I reported their 2017 report that only 8% of plastic and 27% of glass was recycled that year. And repetition, when I said reduce, reuse, recycle. In closing, we have learned the three terms that my author have used, as well as the current problems that face the recycling industry in the United States and how we can help alleviate some of these problems. The artist Andy Warhol would say, they say that time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself.